Hi, I represent Blackbright News and I am talking about the microchip. I've already done a couple of previous videos on it and this is the final video. And the microchip is about their hacking the body and playing with our DNA and experimenting with people like me and you and using us as guinea pigs. It's already in United States when a company in Wisconsin called 32M has already implanted it in their employees, and the employees did it willingly. Apparently they can't force you to do it, but what they can do is create the circumstances, so you have to agree to it, because supposing they now say, like with the Oyster card in London, you have to use an Oyster card to get on the bus. You can't use cash. You're forced to get an Oyster card. Now, if they start saying you can't buy anything without having this implant, you're forced to have the implant. And indirectly, you'll be volunteering to have the implant put in because it's the only way you're going to be able to survive and live and buy and eat. So you won't have a choice. And even though they say it's voluntary, it won't be voluntary. It's easier if they can lure you into a false sense of security and get you to do it. But if they can't, you're going to have to do it anyway. So they'll probably start off with the babies, implanting them at birth. Mothers that go in to have babies, implanting it when they go in to have the baby. If you're going for surgery, they'll implant it that way, and they'll get as many people as they can and implant it. So they call that conspiracy theory. I don't know if it is, but if it's already happening, it's not a conspiracy theory. The only conspiracy theory is that we're not going to have a choice at some point. And it's clear that's why they want to get the Christians. I heard about that, but I didn't understand why they wanted to kill off all Christians. And it's because they're referring to the mark of the beast in Revelation. And it's Revelation 13, 15 to 18. And what they're saying is the mark of the beast was already prophesied and you won't be able to buy and sell. Now, a book that was written all those thousands of years ago, how the hell could it know that today or in 2017 this was going to happen? That book is no joke. That book needs to be taken seriously. It's got a lot of prophecies in there and it ain't messing around. So, and when they talk you're going to run to the tree and the tree's going to run away, it's no joke. It might be by what do you call it, tornadoes or whatever, but it's still the same thing. It could be by terrorism. We don't know. But all I know is that we're being psycho-conditioned to accept this transition as if it's a part of a normal way of being smarter. The smartphone is introduced to make us feel as though it's smart. And us having a smartphone, we're meant to be smart by having a smartphone. But the smartphone is actually taking over our thought processes. How many of you remember your parents' telephone number? I remember mine because I'm probably old school and I used to have to remember all the time. But a lot of us, we don't know our parents, and that's because it's a landline. I tend to remember landlines. But you try to remember mobile numbers. I know my own. I don't even know my daughter's mobile number. I've got a rough idea about what it is, but it's not on the tip of my tongue like it would be. So, you know, our brain is already relying on technology to answer our questions. I find it quite amusing that I go on Google and I say, Google, tell me what this is, and it comes up with the answer. I get lazy. I don't bother to read. I don't bother to do anything. I rely on Google to give me the answers. That is what we are being psycho-conditioned to do. We don't shop anymore. Well, some of us do because we have to. But the majority of us, we sit at home, we press a button and we do all our shopping. So when the mark comes, we will be so comfortable and duped into thinking that the implant and the microchip will make our lives easier and that it's the best choice, that we won't realise that we'll actually be taking away our freedom of choice by having it implanted. Don't you think that's scary? It is scary. Soon, our children, like I said, will be implanted at birth. We won't have a say. And the laws will make it seem as though it's in our best interest. People are already trained to accept the microchip. I spoke to somebody today and I mentioned it and I said, "Oh, have you heard about the microchip?" And she said, I said, "You know, you'll be able to, you won't need your ticket on the train. You can get on a plane without plane tickets." And she goes, "Oh, what a fantastic idea. Oh, it's great." And even when I told her about the downside, the only thing she was concerned about is that it might hurt. It looked painful because I showed her the video of them injecting it into the hand. And when you think it is quite a large thing to go into your arm, into your hand. So that's all she was concerned about, that it's going to be painful. So if that's all her only concern, they can give her anaesthetic, can't they? She wasn't really bothered about any of the disadvantages. So I'm just going to briefly go over the medium and long-term implications. Once you get the implant, the credit cards will not work. You won't be able to use them. It's already in London, like I said, on the buses, and Revelation 13 has forecasted it. Phone companies, they won't need to worry about your bill. Your bill will come out automatically. I'm not quite sure how it works. But all I know is that they're invading your body and they're messing around with your DNA. And that is serious stuff. So you need to be careful. So despite what they tell you, it can't be removed. They'll tell you that it can. But I told you in my previous video, I had the Norplant done and that was like 11 years ago. And that was supposed to be revolutionary back then. And when they wanted to take it out, it couldn't because all the skin had grown over it. And they had to dig and dig and dig. They knew roughly where they put it, but I don't know what happened. They dug for 2 hours to get that Norplant out. And I said I would never have something like that again. So this would be a similar thing. Once that goes into your skin, how the hell are you going to get it out? Because your skin will grow over it. You can't get it out. Unless it's invasive surgery. I think they'd probably have to split open your whole hand. And then, like I said, it can move. It can travel. So you don't even know if you have invasive surgery, that's what's going to cause it to move. So it's not as harmless as they make out. It will probably make your life easier. Like they're talking about the smart meter, you can stay at home, you don't have to give your readings anymore. Lots of people have opted for the smart meter. They're not worried about the radioactivity or any other of anything else. So, you know, you're already conditioned, but at least you'll be aware. This video, it's not to say it's right or it's wrong, it's just to make you aware of the implications on where we're going and where we're heading. So I hope you found it useful. It's a powerful device that will control your life, but at least you might have a say to delay it or defer it for as long as possible. So that's all for now. This is Black Pipe News, and you can be found on www.issuu.com/Black Pipe News, and issue is spelled ISSUU. That's all for now. Ciao.